Phantasmal Flames was possibly the best thing that could happen to Pokemon in 2025. Now, let me explain. First of all, if you're here, the chances are you have some sort of interest in Pokemon trading cards. Now, if you know anything about Pokemon trading cards, you know that in 2025, trying to get a hold of anything Pokemon trading card related, whether it's one of these Bald and Battle boxes from Phantasmal Flames, whether it's a booster box, whether it's a booster bundle, for example, no matter what it is, if you're trying to get hold of any product, it has not been easy. However, with the release of this set, Phantasmal Flames, things have slowly started to become a little bit less difficult. Here in the UK at least, it is becoming increasingly more common to be able to walk into a shop and see a booster pack of this set or Mega Evolution available. And I think there are a few reasons why that is. Today I'm going to be talking about the Phantasmal Flames set and the similarities I think it shares with the Pokemon set from a few years ago. So in case you've been living under a cave and you're unaware, Phantasmal Flames is the second installment of the Mega Evolution era of Pokemon trading cards. It released on the 24th of November 2025, and upon its announcement a few months ago now, it caused absolute chaos at the sight of a Charizard on a Pokemon trading card box. One of the icons, one of the mascots of Pokemon in general, and the anticipation for this set was through the roof. Pokemon have helped us out massively with this standard set, like this tramp inch here. There's only 94 cards to complete the actual set, which in comparison to a lot of modern day Pokemon cards is not a lot when you're thinking of Mega Evolutions, Destined Rivals, if you think of Prismatic Evolution, which was crazy massive. All these other sets, you could easily be talking 300, maybe even 400 cards in extreme scenarios to get a master set, a full set, or whatever. And that's 130 cards all in, and that includes the secret rares as well. A total of 36 secret rares, which are numbers above 94 up to 130. Relatively, for Pokemon, a very small set. And in my opinion, that is where Pokemon have helped us out. You don't have to open booster box after booster box to finish your common, uncommon, or rare card sets. You can open maybe one or two, and hopefully in amongst those you will get most of the cards you need before you're looking for only secret rares or maybe a few holos as well. Now, in a time like 2025 where we're approaching the 30th anniversary of Pokemon, the market values, if you will, of trading card products are absolutely obscene. No difference in Pokemon. Pokemon is one of the main culprits of this. To have a set come out which upon release is so hyped, so wanted, and of course, as I mentioned, the chase card is a Charizard. There's 2 Charizard cards in this set which, prior to the release of it, were going for astronomical amounts of money. We'll go into some of the numbers a little bit later on, but one card in particular going for well over £1,000 in dollars, particularly in the lead up to the release, so before pre-release, a couple of weeks beforehand, and the crash in prices are insane. We'll get into a little bit more of the figures later on, but for now I do want to make the comparison to one other trading card set which I kind of alluded to at the start of this video. Back in 2020, when COVID happened, the world shut down, everything just completely shut off. Pokemon seen a boom, which up until that point I don't think I'd ever seen in Pokemon. There was periods where it would get quite popular again, but particularly the years of 2020, 2021 and the like were just absolutely insane for Pokemon. That just went through the roof, and the amount of people that today collect cards, I think, is all thanks to that sort of period. So during this boom, where you couldn't go into a shop, you couldn't find a booster pack, things were selling out online, the resale value of everything was through the roof, a very similar set came along, and that set was Champion's Path. Now, Champion's Path was a holiday set, so unlike Phantasmal Flames, you could not buy a booster box. You could only buy certain products, such as the Elite Trainer box, collection boxes. I believe it might have been pin sets at the time. I don't think it was quite sticker collections, but there was some sort of 3-pack variant available as well. Almost the exact same thing happened with Champion's Path. Champion's Path released in September 25th, 2020, and contained a total of 80 cards. That is including 7 secret rares. A very, very small set at what was an absolute peak of Pokemon trading card game. At this point, the prints weren't very good, the card qualities weren't very good, and out of nowhere comes this 80 card set, which, again, in my opinion, totally changed the game. and almost made things, at least in the short term, a little bit easier to get hold of Pokemon trading cards. There was a term that I used at the time, and to this day I still use, to be fair. People are using it. I've used it since Champions Path came out, and that phrase is Zard or bust. The value of the rest of the cards, particularly in Champions Path, in comparison to the value of an Elite Trainer box, the value of the cards in set compared to the collection boxes, any other booster packs in total, was insane. You had 2 cards, particularly in Champions Path. You had 2 Charizard cards, which will probably pop up somewhere around about here, that you could get from your packs. The pull rates for these things were not great. Quick disclaimer, with any sort of pull rates, it is not guaranteed. So for example, if you have a pull rate of 1 in 10 for a particular card, that does not mean you can go in and buy 10 packets and get that card. It doesn't work like that. Somewhere in the production cycle, every 1 in 10 aspects of the production cycle, there will be an insert of that particular card with the 1 in 10 pull rate. That does not mean that if you're going to one shop, buy 5 packets, you go into a second shop, buy 2 packets, buy 3 from another one, that card's got to be in there. There could be 2, 3, 4, 5, there could be 0 copies of that card. It's all up in the air. So these numbers that we're about to spit out are purely to give you a idea or rough representation of what was expected to get one of those Charizard cards. Now, market values are very volatile. They move up and down constantly. The Champions Path at the time, the retail was still about £50 UK, so I'm going to stick with that baseline because that was said. I know that for a fact. I bought some at that price, so I know that was the going rate. So £50 retail for a Champions Path ETB. Say you get your 10 packets in your ETB, roughly about £5 value a pack. Now, to get the Charizard V Secret Rare, which was one of the 2 chase cards, it was the cheaper of the 2 chase cards, you were looking at roughly 1 in 152 packs to find one of those cards. Every pack has a value of around £5, so you're looking at well over £750 worth of packs to potentially pull one of those Charizard cards. The main chase card of the set, however, the pull rates for that were even lower. The Rainbow Rare Charizard card had a pull rate of roughly about 1 in 319 packs. A little bit of quick maths, I reckon that's probably just shy of about £1,600 worth of packs before one of those is inserted into a random pack. The resale values of those cards were a lot lower. So for the Charizard V, 79 out of 73, if you were looking to get an ungraded copy now, you're roughly looking about $210. For the Charizard VMAX, which is 74 out of 73, the Rainbow Rare Edition, you'll be looking at about $142. So the price of these, you're looking at maybe 4 retail ATBs or 3 retail ATBs make up the current market value of one of these cards. They are a lot cheaper than what they were. At the time, they were very hard to find. As I said before, the print quality wasn't very good either. So why make the comparison? Why compare Champions Path, which was a holiday set, to 2025's Phantasmal Flames? A couple of quick observations. First of all, Charizard's the mascot. Charizard, as we know, one of the most popular Pokemon and Pokemon trading card. Second of all, the effects that both these sets have. After the release of Champions Path, Pokemon continued to be extremely popular. We've seen sets such as Vivid Voltage, Shining Fates, Battle Styles, Chilling. As someone experienced some of the issues in collecting Pokemon cards during such a popular point for the hobby, it certainly did feel like this set was the beginning of a slight downward trend, particularly when we got to the likes of Battle Styles. Chilling Reign at the time, whereas today some of the prices in Chilling Reign product are very high. Back then, people just weren't very interested. Later in the year, we had Fusion Strikes, which again wasn't very popular, despite some of the fact that Evolutions were in there. The pull rates were horrendous. You had the Celebration set, which celebrated the 25th anniversary of Pokemon cards. Finally, the one set that, to this day, is possibly the most popular in Sword and Shield, Evolving Skies. Evolving Skies is one of those sets that just captured the imagination of so many people, and even now a lot of the cards in that set has kept this hobby ticking over for the years since. We are experiencing incredible demand for Pokemon. We've got a holiday set on the way, which is Ascended Heroes, which is going to be massive. Some of the cards coming from that. This hobby is not going to slow down anytime soon. Product has never been more difficult to get. Some things are starting to ease up, but I would encourage everyone who's watching this, everyone who collects, everyone who enjoys Pokemon, please just remain patient, remain optimistic, and more than anything else, if you can, don't overpay. Please don't overplay. Out of sheer principle, I try and refuse to accept the concept of market valuation. Unless there's something that I really, really, really want, market value is not an option. There are some instances, particularly with older product that's not in print, that's just the way of it. You either pay market value or you don't get it. Particularly with new cards, new sets that have come out over the past few years. So the likes of Phantasmal Flames, the likes of Mega Evolution, the likes of Destined Rivals, the likes of Surging Sparks, the likes of Prismatic Evolution. Some of these big card sets that are hugely popular, but are also very new in their life cycle. You can expect to see these come up in collection boxes, booster box reprints occasionally, or even re-releases of booster boxes occasionally. These things will come back. These things will pop up periodically. We are not at the end of the life cycle for a lot of these things yet, particularly things that are out this year, things that are maybe out last year as well. Bide your time with them, and hopefully you'll be able to find some deals, and hopefully you'll be able to find a lot of what you're looking for at a more affordable price. Pokemon trading cards are not cheap. Pokemon trading card collecting is not cheap. You have to be very savvy and smart with this hobby in the way that you spend your money in order to get the most value you can out of the little money you can afford to spend. Collecting every set and every card from every set is just not possible for someone in my position. There's so many times I'll open up a binder of a set that I've set out to, complete the full set of, and I'll be missing more than half the cards. And quite often, a lot of the time, or most of the time, those cards are the secret rares. The secret rares hold the most value of the set in most occasions. You have to be very savvy. You can't collect everything. So if you do collect Pokemon cards, if you are waiting for prices to come down, just keep holding on. Do not bow to resellers. Do not bow to market value, and hold on strong. And hopefully, eventually, you can get what you're after. Thank you very much for watching today's video. I just really wanted to share some thoughts personally and share some information with the similarities between Phantasmal Flames and between Champion's Path. If you're watching this, then alright, I've actually managed to do an edit in half decent time. If you're not watching this, then maybe it will never make YouTube. Thanks very much for watching. Have a good one.